So here's the story of our well. First, a little bit of backstory. We really had no idea how deep our well was going to be. We have neighbors that just down the road are only 80 feet deep. We have neighbors that are 180 feet. I have a neighbor that is 325 feet deep. And then I have a neighbor that is 900 feet deep. So you really can't go by what your neighbors have, because that is a huge difference, 80 to 900 feet. So we had no idea how deep we'd have to go to hit water, just hoping for the best. On day number 1, the well contractors came out, the guys who do the drilling to put the well in. Each one of those pipe things is like 20 feet tall. So every time they put a new pipe in, I knew they were down another 20 feet. And they were drilling. They got down 50 feet. They put in the required well casing that they have to do for the first 50 feet. They kept drilling. They got down to 63 feet. And they had to stop for the day. It turns out their machine, the hydraulic fluid, was leaking, so they had to stop after about 4 hours into it, call the mechanic and have him come out the following day to fix the machine. So he came out, fixed the machine, and then a couple days later, they were back at it. This time, I wasn't out here when they were drilling again. I was working. My dad called me near when I was about finished working that day, and he said, hey, they're about 300 feet deep, still haven't hit water yet. And so I'm on my way out here, and I'm praying, and I'm almost to the property, and I'm like, all right, Lord, can you use this as an opportunity to show that you are God? I don't know how you want to do that. I don't know if you want it to be as soon as I, as the owner, pull up and touch the driveway, boom, water just starts shooting out, and just show the contractors, hey, you're God, look what you did. Or how you want to do it. But somehow, you know what, Lord? Use this in a way to show that you are God. No sooner that I get finished praying that, my dad calls me and says, they hit water. So God is God. And he showed himself with that. That was pretty cool. That as soon as I finished praying that, then it's like, as I was praying that, they were hitting water. And so that was pretty cool. So they ended up hitting water at about 400 feet. They had about 6 gallons per minute of water pressure. The guy said they wanted to have it, they'd like to have it about 10 gallons per minute, which my dad was kind of shocked by because he knows people around here that only get like 2 gallons per minute, and that's plenty of water for them. But they wanted to do that, that's how they do it. So they drilled an additional 100 feet so that we had a good reservoir of water under there. So our well is 500 feet deep. Deeper than we wanted to go, but not as deep as some of the neighbors that it could have been. So all in all, it's kind of right in the middle. So our well is 500 feet deep, and final water pressure is almost 10 gallons per minute. It's about 9.5 gallons per minute. You know, after they'd finished drilling the well, they let it sit for a day before they measured the water level and all that stuff. Turns out the water level is, if you go down the well 22 feet, there's water. So hundreds of feet of water in the well from that 500-foot mark all the way back up to the top, so you hit 22 feet from the surface, we are full of water. So there's a lot of water in there, which is great. We got a good reserve of water, and it comes out pretty fast, so we get a lot of water. Now, the following week, they came back out to dig the line that goes from the well to the house. They also put the pump in. So they put the pump in the well, and they went to where they were supposed to come into the house, and they started digging. So here's the deal in the well. We, most of our foundation's on bedrock. So they weren't able to bring the well line in underneath the footers without doing some hammering under the house, which we really didn't want them to do that. So this is what we did. And we got this approved by the building inspector before we did this. Right on top of this is the footer right here. This is the cement footer, and then underneath that's bedrock down there. Right on top of the footer is typically your drainage tile. We're going underneath of that, bringing it in. In total, that's probably going to be about 20 inches below final grade. So they insulated this thing, as you can see, this pipe here, prevent it from freezing. They like to have it 36 inches, 30 minimum, which we have in the rest of the trench. However, we hit some rock, and had a guy out today hammer the rock. We hit 2 rock ledges. All right, so the well line is now in. I had to do a lot of manual work on this one by myself. The reason for this is the company we hired, Northern Virginia Drilling, they just literally threw the pipe in the ditch. And the problem is, it had rained and there was a lot of sediment and stuff in the bottom of the ditch. And so, and they literally threw the pipe and propped it up on rocks and different, dirt and different things like that at the highest points inside of the trench. And then they had the nerve to text me and say, hey, it's probably not going to pass inspection, but we're done. Needless to say, I called their boss and told him how unhappy I was about it. But their excuse was our guys are professionals. If they could have gone any lower, they would have. Yada yada yada. Moral of the story is I got a foot to a foot and a half deeper than they did throughout the entire trench, just by coming out here and shoveling by hand around their pipe. So inspection passed. We're good, and now we're grading everything and covering it up. Let's check out the crawl space. There is the pressure tank that the water comes into from the well. And you can see down there, that's where the water line goes down and comes into the house. All right, so the well is done. Hallelujah. Only took them like 4 weeks to do the thing. So hit that like button and subscribe button to follow along with our journey. We post new videos every week. Your likes, comments, and subscribes help us out a lot. Feel free to share this video too. We'll see you in the next one. Adios, amigos.